First, let me start by appreciating His Excellency the President for nominating me for a second time.
Kipchumba Murkomen could be the next Cabinet Secretary for Sports, replacing former CS Ababu Namwamba if the Committee on Appointments approves his nomination. The immediate former CS Transport walked into the county hall before the Wetangula-led committee to answer questions not only on his suitability but also the docket that he seeks to be in charge of. Corruption, a thorn in the flesh of most ministries in the country, is also paralyzing the Ministry of Sports.
We cannot hide. Our sports federations cannot continue to hide, saying that the resources they get from FIFA or World Athletics Organization or International Badminton Organizations are not subject to auditing. We must audit that money, Mr. Speaker, and we will involve Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, we will involve DCI if it requires, Mr. Speaker. That money is given to Kenya, not for the association themselves. It's on behalf of the young people of Kenya, Mr. Speaker, and we must take them by the horns, Mr. Speaker.
The CS nominee has acknowledged there is a serious problem in the management of sports in the country, saying his first assignment will be to have a sit-down with all stakeholders in different sectors of sports and make sure that there is a turnaround, as he threatens not to fund federations that are not following the Sports Act.
Mr. Speaker, the first thing I will do is to make sure that we bring all the stakeholders, and Mr. Speaker, I promise I'll do that within the next 1 month, all the stakeholders in different sectors of sports to make sure that we have a conversation on how to turn around these sports. We will make sure that we will not finance any sports federation that, Mr. Speaker, is not following the Sports Act.
On the question of pending stadia infrastructure, Murkomen has now committed to ensuring all stadia are complete. All this will be facilitated using the Sports Fund, and that a steering committee will be constituted to oversee the completion as Kenya prepares to host CHAN and AFCON in 2027.
Talanta Stadium, which is going to be in Jamhuri along Gong Road, Mr. Speaker, is ongoing. I will make sure that it's delivered to the required standards. Mr. Speaker, also all the stadium where the players who are going to train, we are going also to make sure that the stadia are put to be world class. One thing that is lacking in our country as we speak, Mr. Speaker, is that we do not have standards put in place in regulation of infrastructure. The law itself, the Sports Act, says that Sports Kenya will set the standards, but the regulations must be put in place. As a Cabinet Secretary, I promise this committee that will be a priority for me to make sure that all the infrastructure across the country are going to be built based on world-class standards.
The CS nominee has promised to use devolution in bridging the gap between national and county government to ensure the nurturing of talent.
Government must invest in the training itself, in identification of talent, and I'll marry this with the question of Honorable Kikaria. We will use the Kenya Academy of Sports to make sure that we establish training centers in at least all the counties, Mr. Speaker.
Regarding the issue of gender-based violence that has been meted to women athletes in the country, Murkomen now says the ministry under his leadership will prioritize their safety.
Mr. Speaker, that all training camps must, if a lady is going to be in a training camp, we must have a female matron in the training camp. Mr. Speaker, for junior athletics, you match training camps with the neighboring institutions. We need to oversight also the managers and the coaches, Mr. Speaker. Not just enough to register them, but we must be able to oversight them to make sure that they are following certain procedures.
The vetting process entered its third day today, with the final day being Sunday. Murkomen's fate as the CS Sports now hangs in the hands of the committee. Gladys Midecha, K24 TV.